I love how I heard the strike of a match in your
Mm-hmm.
room. Is that correct? Yeah. I've got my Palo Santo next to me and my matches are over there. So I'll
Here, let me give you a
soak
light.
in yours.
There you go.
Right? There we go. Yeah, give me a light.
Yeah, I got the sage going.
And
It's that kind of
as
day.
we are, it's that kind of day. It's that kind of day. I know in my energetic space in my body, I had some adjustments made yesterday with my chiropractor, and now I'm left-handing it because my right hand is just doesn't have a grip today, and that really bothers me. I know that it's a process. I know that it's movement, and I don't do well when I've got numbness in my hands. It really makes me feel as though I am not operating at my fullness.
Uh, I have that when I'm hoarse. I've had a couple allergic reactions. It was interesting. It was usually, I don't know that I've had one since I stopped teaching. um, and I would lose my voice. And, I would actually call out sick, have a substitute come, and I'd still go in because anybody who's a teacher out there knows substitute plans are pain. They are just pain.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that I couldn't teach, I just couldn't talk. And so I would often
Yeah.
kind of go over the plan, so the substitute teacher, and then I could walk around and help the kids, and I didn't always need my voice to help the kids. So I actually did enjoy those times, but that's when I felt like, oh my God, I have no voice. What do? You have no
Mhm.
voice. How many times do you speak in a day? So,
Yeah. And spirit operates in the most fabulous ways because it helps us transforming in the way that works today. And spirit really does have some grand knowledge about, you know, what's going on in the big world of everything. And trusting in that can be a challenge.
um, I read something just a moment ago. I'm going to look at it again because it was such a lovely reminder. Um, you know, Today I have friends coming to visit, and so I'm doing what my Virgo soul North Node loves to do, and that it was cleaning and organizing and very much taking care of all the little pieces. And so this is instead of focusing so much on what to do list today, I'm starting a to be list, things I want to be: happy, calm, loving, healthy, awesome. Things to be, not just do,
Mhm.
but be. Verb of being:
Be.
am, is, are, was, were, be, been. So,
Yeah.
um,
And it's in the act of being that we can feel often um, confined in the physical body because the physical body, the mind, the thought, that fight, flight, freeze. I'm out of here. This is crap. I don't want this, right? I want something else.
mhm.
Um, it's the struggle. It's the physical struggle. It's the emotional struggle. It's the spiritual struggle. And mastering self is believing in self because I believe that we are all masters.
Yes, it's right up there with I'm just one breath away from a miracle. Always. I am a master. I
Mhm.
am,
Yeah.
and that's this integration energy that we're working on right now, really working on it very actively in this present moment. Like, I loved when you were talking about your issue with the computer, and you said, No, not today. I'm not doing this right now. I'm not doing this in this moment. And if it continues, I'm going to go do something else. So,
Yeah, not today. Not
not
today. I've
today.
got a dear friend of mine, and he always makes me giggle because he's like, "Not today, Satan," and I just laugh every time he says it because it's his
Mhm.
voice. It's that giggle that keeps me moving forward, and it's amazing. After our astrology meetup on Monday, Ralph had a movie that he had for us to watch, and it was Heal, the documentary.
I've heard about that.
Oh, it is exceptional. And it's from quite a few years ago. And I'd seen it in the quite a few years ago time. And then seeing it again in the now time, a whole new realization to me. And there was a part in the movie when there was a butterfly in the chrysalis stage. It was struggling inside the cocoon. It was moving, it was struggling, it was seemingly struggling to release. It wasn't. It was still developing. And a kind human came along with a pair of scissors and cut it open, and out came the butterfly, and it couldn't fly.
No.
It hadn't developed enough. It wasn't ready yet. And that's where this process of growth in our lives, we're always growing, we're always evolving, we're always expanding, or we're dense and we can be in both places at the same time. We can be
Mm,
expanding physically, and our bodies can be growing like a child, and yet emotionally we may not have a capability, right? So it's that dance,
yes, it is that dance.
and it's not um it's not always fun in the way that I took tap dancing when I was a little girl. I love tap dancing. And my knees got sore and I complained. And my mom asked me if I wanted to keep on going. And I said, no. Had Nancy of now made that decision, I would have kept on going. I would have loved to become a masterful tap dancer. It would have been fun. I can still take that too. I do tap dance through life a lot.
It's a bigger metaphor than you had thought about at first. Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, it's and you weren't ready at that time. You weren't
No,
ready.
no, I simply wasn't. No, I
You
simply
know,
wasn't. Emily took tap dancing. It was fun to watch her. Um, it was fun. Perhaps I'll take it with my granddaughters.
I took tap as an adult for a little bit from a woman on the island. It was fun. Um, I have I love to dance, but I don't like anybody to show me a routine of how to dance. I like the freestyle
Mm.
approach. So I get frustrated when I'm being told to move my body in a certain way, and my body wants to go like
Mhm.
this, and they're saying, "No, you're going like this." But my body wants to go like this. And so because I've always danced that way, listening to where my body tells me to move, what part of my body, I am very grateful to spirit that I was not given any shame around dancing ever. You know, there's a famous story in my family, infamous, about in Detroit, where I grew up, there used to be a place called Babalo. And Babalo was an
Mm.
amusement park on a small island. It was actually in Canada, um, on the Detroit River. The Detroit River divides Canada and the States. And there was an island, and there was an amusement park. And you used to get on a boat in Detroit, was a lot of fun. You took this ferry boat for, I think it was probably, I'm remembering as a child, so I felt like it was an hour, but it was probably like 40 minutes maybe. And it must have been a fair amount of time because they had a band. They had a dance floor. And
Mhm.
I was young and my family was all going out to Babalo, and they couldn't find me. They couldn't find me.
Oh,
They were afraid I'd gone overboard, like I had gone somewhere,
oh,
and I wasn't the kid. I have a brother, Rick, who was the kid who would, like, be found sleeping on a bed somewhere and, that but that I wasn't that kid. So they were searching. They were, in a panic, and I think they had the ship personnel helping, before they came to a full stop. And, somebody said to I think it was my mother, and because I think it was like a somebody who worked on the boat, "Is that the little girl that's in the middle of the dance floor?" And I had left my family, wormed my way right in the middle, and was dancing away, and just,
I love it.
so
I love it. Just that freedom. And that's why so often you will see that kind of dancing at a wedding,
Mhm.
at a celebration, where people are just embracing the moment sometimes, right? Like there can be spirits involved, shall we
Yeah.
say. Um,
There's the denser expression of those spirits and the expanded expression of those spirits. The denser one you drink or smoke or do something else with, yeah.
oh, my kids remember me. There was one time we were in Kelowna and I had ingested a little bit of ice wine, and I had this headset on. I was listening to a friend's iPod, and I was talking about my lumps, my lovely lady lumps. Check them out, right? Like, I mean, I was intoxicated and embracing the moment. I was working through layers and layers and layers of emotion. The hangover lasted for days. And now I know what it feels like to be in that space. And I just make more conscious choices towards that. And when I enter that E, I've got so many beautiful options.
And I think that's important as we have these spiritual conversations, that people understand we have that. It's the integration, and that's the kind of the topic of the moment at this with this Aries sun and Libra lunar eclipse, and the moon just moved out of Libra. Whenever you're watching it, there was a lunar eclipse on March 25th. This is the 27th. It just moved out of that Libra energy into Scorpio. And with a lunar eclipse, there's an ending. And when we're in this spiritual journey, part of it is not to be ashamed, not to, um, it's not about the don't, it's about the integration. It's about remembering a lot of reframing going right around right now. Memories that come up. How do I reframe that so that it's all of the emotional charge, the shoulda, woulda, couldas around it, shift to this is what it gave me. You weren't ready to learn tap. You weren't going to be cut out of the cocoon. It wasn't time. All of the things that have happened to us were meant to happen for whatever
Mhm.
the reasons are. And that doesn't mean that they're not harsh. It doesn't mean they're not sad. It means that they happened. Last night in spirit communication, the sentence that came out was, "Why do you?" Um, what was it? There is nothing we learn from the past. Why do you look at it? There is no
Hmm.
there's no action by looking back
Mm.
at the past. I've learned it, I acknowledge that, and that's how I reframe it. Um, no plan's going to come from it by continuing looking back. You've already done that. And so I love the story you just told because it's an integration of who I am and who I what I've come to learn about since then. Um,
Yeah, it is. And depending upon where we're at, sometimes we struggle with things that were really easy,
mhm.
that are in this day hard, just
Yep.
hard. Last night, when I was doing the tea and tarot class, I could not remember my Roman numerals. Thank God I had someone there who was helping me. I couldn't, it was gone.
And instead of, oh, I can't believe I couldn't remember, it's thank God I had somebody there. Because
Mhm.
in the moment, that's the trust. You know, when we say we are not trustful, we had to have understood trust to make the decision to be not trustful. So
Yes.
it's still a decision. It's still a this is that integration. It's can I remove my separateness and my judgments around my separateness? Doesn't mean I want to do some of those things again, you know. Um, but that for me, that little girl that was on the dance floor in that moment, I
Yeah.
I I so want to put her on my to-do list, remembering what she did. Only I can say to people, by the way, I'm going here. I don't need to scare them, you know. Um, and I completely trusted that I wasn't lost. I was here, you know. It's very
Yeah.
public. It wasn't like I had gone off and snuck into something. I was in the middle of the dance floor dancing
That
because
was it.
you know, that's what you're supposed to
That
do.
was it.
Yeah.
Well, and when we're looking for guidance, when we're looking for some divination, so some way that spirit's going to help guide us, there's so many things that we can look at. We can look at the ancient, which is things like astrology, tarot, and we can look at the beauty of some of the newer techniques that have evolved out of that, the pressure points. So I was working with a friend of mine early this morning. We were talking about tapping, so emotional freedom technique.
Hmm.
And I when I developed my skills in that and then began to use it in my coaching, I studied 1,000 hours. Imagine that. I did every video,
Yep.
1,000 hours. I did every video because I needed it. And some of the videos that I did didn't make any sense because there was one where this lady was afraid of dogs and she had this little tiny dog that she was using. Like, and I'm like, not relatable for me. But I started tapping anyways and right, working through the pressure points and doing my thing. And then all of a sudden, oh, there was a memory of frogs and I couldn't breathe. I couldn't breathe, and I was working through it and working through it, and I mean, it was huge. And as I worked through it and brought it down from like Mach 20 down and down and down, I had a memory, my cousin and frogs, but it was faint. So I messaged her and I'm like, a couple days later, because I'm still trying to process, hey, about those frogs. That's it. She's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. She had tormented me as a child. Put them in my bed, put them under my bed. She was that cousin who was like a sister, and we were very competitive. Wow, that's what was
Mhm.
underneath all of that. I'm now the lady at the park with the frogs on her arms because it's so cool. I love frogs. I transformed that. Yeah.
See, that's that integration we're looking at. Where have we developed separateness that we're bringing back into wholeness? And the trick, like you said, with whether it's an ancient practice, a newer practice, is as I'm integrating the past, being very present in the moment, not to separate myself, so that I'm not going back to reintegrate. And sometimes that takes a lot of silence, a lot of just sitting there, a lot of thinking about, what resonates, what doesn't resonate with me, as an astrologist, which I just realized I could put underneath. Um, uh, as an astrologist, I use a chart. On Monday when we had our class, what is coming out to you? Don't look at me and say, this shows for me. Look at your map. What talks to you? That's what wants the stage right now. I can tell you what the stars are doing, and that might be in a different conversation that they're asking you to tap into. This is that integration. I love that story because you integrated a basic fear and you looked at fear. So other fears get integrated along with it, get reframed, re-examined, revisited, while I'm now in this moment not doing that. So it's
Well, and reframing is like putting on glasses.
mhm.
I when you reframe something, you put it into a different vision. So you just see it differently. It's really, really, really interesting.
And I think of
Really,
reframing
really.
it as building a bigger, taking apart what might have been constricting it and allowing it to expand, re-looking at how this
Oh,
showed up for me. So it just a different way to look at it. And in order to integrate, I often have to reframe how I thought about it. I usually had a judgment
mhm.
about it. And we're talking about this on the Monday class. I've had a bunch of, like your frog example, memories that come up with emotions around them going, oh, well, let's reframe that. What you told yourself about it or what you didn't think about when it happened because had some shame around it. And, uh, right now that's why I love what you said to me. Nope, not doing this today. Today is Scorpio. Today's all about Scorpio. Big energy around that today. I sat here and I looked at the things I wanted to let go of with this lunar eclipse. I looked at things that I participate in, relationships that I'm getting ready to let go of, ways I've thought about relationships. And it's not always about the relationship, it's sometimes about the way I thought about the relationship, how I approached that relationship. And now I've got Scorpio that says, get to it. What you waiting
Yeah,
for?
pitter patter, get at her, right?
Yeah.
Last night when we were in the Tea and Tarot group, we each drew one card from the major arcana, and I drew the Justice card. And at the
Hmm.
time, I had a certain idea as to what that was. And there's a lot of contracts in my life right now, a lot of karmic changes and unfoldings, and I'm really looking at vows, the vows that I've made in my life, the promises that I've made in my life. And in my editing process for my memoir, I'm writing about the vows of marriage and how I held those so strong.
Hmm.
And my vows did not match the vows of my partner. Even though we both exchanged wedding vows, what I believed in and the sacredness of it, it was like his was like out there, way out there, like in
He had,
left field, man.
he had different views, different agreements around what that was going to be. Um,
Mhm.
and do we ever know in a marriage vow what the other person's really promising? I mean, we think we do. Some people even have talked about it. I'm not from that generation that had big conversations about it. You know, I
No.
think that's why, um, you know, I know that people would go to religion classes as a
Mhm.
Catholic before they got married in the church. And yet, a lot of my friends reported they didn't really talk about what was important. They talked in
Mm.
ideals, but not how that was going to show up.
Yes, because when we speak of the ideal of "till death do us part," what does death mean? Are we speaking of the physical death, the emotional death, the spiritual death? If you're in a relationship where your
Death of
partner
a
does not
partnership.
allow your spirit to expand
Yep.
and they're constricting that, is that death? And is it
Well, it's the
uh,
death of a partnership.
absolutely it is, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so it's, again, it's that I'm very hopeful about where mankind is headed because we are looking at the
Mm.
integration of that. What does that mean? Till death do us part. What does it mean when I promise? Um, and and I promise to do the best I can in the moment I'm standing here and my understanding of myself. What happens when the understanding of myself changes?
Oh, so true. So true. Last week I was blessed to be on a podcast, and there was a fellow on there. Oh my gosh, James, and he was his last name starts with an H, and he is in the wrestling, like beyond wrestling, like MMA Hall of Fame, and
Oh,
it was so interesting, and he spoke of how when a woman brings peace into the home, the man is able to be he's happy. And that's all that a man needs. And there was another lady and myself, and we were both just like, "Whoa," right? That's a big responsibility.
hmm.
Me and communication, I need to communicate to be able to express myself. If I can't speak and communicate and talk about what's going on, there is no peace.
And it makes you wonder, did you say that to your partner? This is my expectation.
Mhm.
My expectation is that you're just going to stay in a good mood, and that's all I want from you. And
Mm.
is that really all you want? Um, I think about when I got married, and I got married later. I got married in my 30s. Um, and I still didn't know. Again, I didn't know. I hadn't integrated enough of me to know what I wanted from a partner. And
Mhm.
I'm still learning that because I'm changing, and how you change together is a piece of that. And there is a belief, this was a Libra thing in this moment, that marriage was meant to be forever. Really?
Mm.
Is that something I believe anymore?
Mhm.
Did I believe it for me? Um, who said? Who said that a good marriage can't be 5 years long and a great partnership and then go different ways? You know?
Oh, right.
Mhm.
And the relationships with career, that's changed. There's more of an acceptance that we can change careers
Yes.
several times. Several
Yeah.
times. I have 2 ladies in my end of life doula, university program, that are in their late 70s, early 80s. Oh, it's so beautiful. So beautiful.
Yeah.
They're beginning to learn and they're so excited. Wow.
You know, it's how, what an amazing point we're at, where we're really asking ourselves, how do I integrate my life? I don't have a lot of time here. I have I mean, really, when you only got 100 years to live, um,
Yeah.
they, that's why I love that today, a to be list. I've had one in my head, um, to be happy, to be inquisitive. Not everybody has that one. To be quiet, you know? How do I, in this rebirth of this year, this, energy, and I think I'm quite thinking of it right now because of this Scorpio moon who's just said, okay, you just shone the light on a lot of stuff is ancillary in your life. So now transform and make the list of what is not ancillary in your life, you know?
Yes. Yes. And it can be whatever that light is shone on, wherever that expression is that's pulling at your attention. It could be, I don't want to go grocery shopping. I don't want to do groceries all by myself anymore. What do you want? Do you want someone to come grocery shopping with you? No.
Mhm.
I want somebody to help me unload the groceries when I get home. Oh, who can help you with that? It's
Well,
that dialogue.
right, and then to go, okay, well, that's true for today, you know? I don't want anybody to go grocery I don't wanna go alone today. Just for today, the
Yes.
excitement would be, let's go with somebody else. That's another thing I have looked at in this letting go. This thing I have about from now on, how about from this moment to maybe the end of the day? Maybe the end of the
Maybe.
day.
Yes, 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 because we make these long-term commitments.
Yeah.
And if we don't allow some flow and some change, then we get caught up in the expectation and we remove the anticipation. I don't know
Mhm.
exactly what's going to happen. That's exciting
Yes, and,
sometimes.
um, it is exciting, and following excitement is all right. I I think for many years I was thinking, "Oh, no, caution and safety is this." And, if the human being is gotten so into, you know, survival mode, where you taught us wait last week, when you get to, we talked about appeasement, we're in survival mode because we're just trying to figure out. Then how do I get out of that? I follow the excitement, not the drama excitement, the excitement that's about me,
Excitement.
not,
Oh my
yeah,
God. And that's it. The excitement about it, the adventure. You sent me a really funny message last night.
yes, yeah. You said you
I
spent your
literally, like,
tea.
I mean, I was drinking my tea and I it could have come spewing out of my nose. And so I shared it. What university was that?
Uh, Christian University of Michigan.
So the Christian University of Michigan did some marketing and made beautiful shirts for the students, the alumni, everybody. So in big bold letters across the shirt are the letters CUM. So I mean, I killed myself laughing. I mean, especially it's a Christian university, and I beg that marketing department to realign who is working there. So I sent this to my friend, my buddy Christopher, and he Googled it. And he came back with, this is real.
Oh, yes, this woman that does it, these are all real.
Yes.
Yes. And
And then we started talking about t-shirts that we were going to create, and the conversation just went on into the most wonderful giggles.
oh, the CUM sports dad, uh, I mean, it just, I actually have another one to send you, another Christian university that I'll send it to you. Um, and this woman is hysterical. I would follow her. I just signed up because
And
she.
that's what I'm finding. I'm
Mhm,
finding that I need more hysterically funny,
yeah,
inappropriate, whatever you want to call it. I call it hysterically funny because there are things in the world right now that are challenging.
right.
Our gas prices here in Edmonton, Alberta, Kitty, they went from 139.9 up to 151.9 overnight. And then on April 1st, we're going to be getting another increase because of the carbon tax. And I was mad. I was furious. I went and I filled up and I got the best rate that I could. And I was just, I felt powerless in that moment. And when I feel powerless, man, I reframe that. What can I do about this? How can I do this? And as I continued on my travels, I was at the dollar store and there was a homeless man who was in the store, and people were moving away from him because of his odor. And mothers were pulling their children closer. And I bought myself two fruit bars. Helps me have something to snack on once in a while. And I bought two for him and I handed them to him. And he said, thank you. And in that moment, I realized how blessed I am. I've got a vehicle, I have a home. Attitude of gratitude, attitude of gratitude, attitude of gratitude. Check in.
Right. And I'm with you, though, on sometimes laughter gets me there. Laughter gets me out of the scarcity and the, oh my goodness, and thinking of the future. And all of those things are going to the past. And sometimes just laughing is what I
Yeah.
need to do. So I sign up for these ones that crack me up. There's
Mhm.
another one I follow that has spiritual memes that can even make fun of the very spiritual piece of it. And, you know, um, and like there was a one that I really enjoyed it. The character who played Sheldon on Big Bang Theory,
Yes.
and it says, "Me reading my soul contract." And the character, it's a scene from obviously
Yeah.
Big Bang, and he's going, "Why would I sign this? Why would I sign this? Why would I sign this?" And then he goes, "Oh, that's why." you know,
Yes.
and there's a reason these come in and out, and you know, we signed up for this part, and how it
Mhm.
unwinds is for our good. And boy, is that hard responsibility to take sometimes. Like, really, you signed up for this? Um, and
Mhm.
uh, they just, I liked the little girl. Did I send you the one with the little girl? Did you see that one?
Expand on that.
She's just a little girl. She's got the little girl. She goes, "Sometimes I feel like a rock star.
Yes.
Other
Yes.
And when I wake up, I feel like a rock star. Other times when I wake up, I wonder, are pants necessary? Really necessary? Yes.
So true. It's so true. The experiences in our life can be so challenging. I remember when
Mhm.
I was a young mom and I was tired. I was exhausted. My son Jarrett was waking up on the hour every hour for 6 weeks. I was so tired. And I had his little bottle and I was pouring. It was hot. The hell, it was coffee. Poured coffee in this bottle. Right? You know what I did? I just drank it.
You know, uh, years ago in college, I had a sign on the door. It was a quote that said, "Laughter is the shortest distance between two people." And
Yes.
when we can touch, and that includes ourselves, the shortest distance into getting the perspective we need sometimes, um,
So
is about
much.
laughing. And as I integrate, I'm spirit is bringing me funnier and brought me that lady where I sent you that. Wait till I send you the other one. You know,
Yeah.
she's just a person who has used this skill of amusing observation and found things on the internet that are hysterical. She does the research. It's not stuff she makes up. It's not an AI thing. There are
No, no, this is
plenty
real.
of them out there. Yeah, there are
Yeah, this is
plenty of
real.
them out there. And you know, she had one recently where they were selling a body-sized pillow teddy bear, and she's like,
Mhm.
I and they're calling it the boyfriend bear, and it's 6 feet tall. And she said, "There's just something wrong." And you're cracking up because it's got this bear head, but it's got like man arms and man legs, and you're going, and you can sleep with it, and you can cuddle with it like your boyfriend won't. And she's like, "Why would you be with the boyfriend and won't cuddle with you?" Just it.
Well, and that's where whatever when we intuitively and when we enter a state of humor, changes our vibration, right? So instead of being
Mhm.
we're up
It
here,
opens us. Yeah.
it opens us up. And once you're there, then you can start realizing that there is something wrong with this in me in this moment. Oh my goodness. Where are you feeling it in your body? Where is
Right.
that? Last night when I was talking about filling out some contracts, like legitimate contracts I have to fill out today, oh, it hit me right in the solar plexus. I mean, it was just, and I'm like, I have to do this. I have to will myself to begin today and take imperfect action. So that means that page one I could do on a PDF, page two I couldn't. That's fine. I'm going to print that off. And it's going to stay in the printer.
We have a visitor. Come here. Come on.
Oh, is that Jack?
That
It
is
is.
Jack. Jack has decided to join the podcast.
Beautiful. I
You
love
want to
it.
say hi?
I love it.
So
Taking
he's
the opportunities as they come, just like
yep.
Jack. I have an opportunity. I'm going to be in an anthology. I have 3,000 words. I'm writing about a beautiful experience in my life with animals, and um, the expansiveness of welcoming those forever friends into our lives, the pain of not having them in our lives. I didn't plan this. Kitty didn't plan this. This one came to me because of another podcast I was on. What a joy.
Mm-hmm.
I can't finish it today. I can't even work on it today. Like, I mean, I've got it over there on my right hand side is my side that says not today. Everything on the left is what I'm working on. Actually, I'm
You
moving
know,
some things from the left to the right now.
I had a conversation today with. I like that you have not today. Um, a conversation today with a mutual friend of ours, and she's given me several links. You have too. I'm not ready to do them yet. I'm just not. And I've done are you sabotaging yourself? No, no, I'm not. It's all right. There's something that's occurring. So I like that. My not to Jack says hello. My not today.
Hello. My not today. No. And another one, my son taught me this, my son Jarrett. Not Nancy's problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's not Nancy's problem. It's not mine.
Right. You don't have to say that sounds like a you problem. It's not my job to tell you what's your problem or not. You can just say it's not Nancy's problem.
Not Nancy's problem. No, not today. And it
Not to,
never was my problem. How many times have I interfered in the lives of others thinking that it is my responsibility to tell the whole world what to do?
yeah, I don't
How's
even have
that
time.
working for you, Tip?
Yeah, I barely have time. You know, my own life is barely my business sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually me that gets it messed up. So, you know,
And
um,
things like scheduling. Do you find that that can be, we put something in our calendar, we write it down, we make an agenda, we set a goal. Important. I mean, I've got whiteboards with goals. I've got schedules that are like 3, 4 months in advance. And then there's a plot twist.
mhm.
My car won't start. Like not today, but that's the plot twist. Yesterday I was in an appointment that took a lot longer than I expected, so I had to cancel and rebook. It's okay.
Yeah, yeah. And sometimes I said to you, all of a sudden, even with the best intention, it's written down, it's in the book, and I forget it's Wednesday.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Sure, come on over. It's a great day. Just sit
yep.
outside in the other room. I'll be right with you. Yeah. And we'll do that where we'll send somebody a message, we'll send an email, we'll send a text. And in our world right now, the expectation on how fast we will deliver on what it is. Do you remember when we sent mail, Kitty? Like
Mm-hmm. Yep.
it wasn't sent you an email. Did you read it yet? No. I sent it to you yesterday.
Yeah,
No.
I do always check my email.
Did you
Yeah.
see it? Did you see it? Yes. Yes, I saw it. But you haven't read it. No.
No, and then once I've read it, is that an expectation for an instant um,
Yeah,
action with it?
right now.
Mm, right. And you know, I remember, you know, we've come from a lot of changes, our generations.
Mm.
Um, you're younger than I am, but not significantly, no, yeah, younger than I am, and we've seen a lot. We are the generation of change.
Yeah.
When you look at how much change we've been through, even in communication, and I remember in the 90s, it really started to take off as America went online and email, and then there were voice messages, and then there were mobile phones, and then there were, you know, text. And at one point, the school system had
Mm.
voice message on my um, phone, email, a mailbox, a physical mailbox that I had to check every day. And there was something else. And oh, that was when there were chat rooms and there was information. And I was like, done. I would send I would send a message to the parents of my kids. Don't leave me a voice message. I don't check them because there were too many places for me to get the communication. And the expectation was, oh, when you get it, you're going to answer. I didn't have time to do anything, you know, at lunchtime. Well, you know, I remember we had to send out a policy that said, if you do not let us know, um, and there could be a physically written note, by the way. Oh, yeah, that was another one. Notes that you had to remember to ask the kids for. And
And the agenda book. And the agenda book.
yeah, and if we had to come up with a policy that said, you don't, if you have to change, you have to call in and talk to a person. You cannot leave it on voicemail. You cannot email it to the office. You cannot email it to the teacher, because the expectation was, well, I emailed it at 9 o'clock this morning. Well, I started teaching at 8:15. And when I got my lunch 20 minutes, I didn't always look at email,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
Mrs. Foss here purposely didn't look at email because it was just gonna be a list of more stuff to get done, and it was stressful. So just
Absolutely. Absolutely, and that's where the stressors that are on our life now are different. We don't have the saber-toothed tiger. We don't need to go out and hunt and gather to the same degree. We can. We don't have to. And yet we are inundated, just inundated. And that's where so much of the stress on our physical body, our emotional body, eliminates us doing the little things. I mean, I suggest to people that they go out and connect with nature. I don't have time for that. Hug a tree, go for a walk,
pet your dog.
pet your dog, soap
You
your
like
feet.
you like that one. He likes that one.
He's like, yeah, pet me, man, pet me. I love that. Hug a human. That's
Yeah,
nature. Nurture your physical body. Stare at a fire. I mean, there's so many things that you can do. And then once you do that, your energy will shift. Now
yeah,
what? You don't have to
right.
respond to every ding, dong, and wong
Yeah, as
that's
we're
going
talking
on.
here, people are dinging
Ding,
us. They're
dong, ding, dong. It will wait. It will wait. If it is an emergency, that's different. And your family can learn. Your business associates can learn. An emergency. And if there's an emergency, then you should dial 911.
right. Well, that's why we have, and I suffer from it too at times. We have literally anxiety when we can't get a hold of people. You know,
Hmm.
I think of in 1989, I was 28 years old for most of the year. I turned 29 November. I climbed in my car in April and I drove around the United States camping. I went on a little tour. I just took off a whole lot of months. What a blessing that is to understand that. Um, and but I think about it, there were no cell phones. My
No,
mother, they had to wait until I got someplace and I took my body and called them. There were, I had friends that flew out. One flew to Seattle, one flew to San Francisco, one flew into Albuquerque, and all I
mm,
could, they had to wait for me to call. I had to take their stuff, write it down on a piece of paper, and then have to call the airline to see if it was running on time. At that point, for those who are going, well, how did you do that? They would have a recording, if it's on time. And by the way, even if it said it was on time, it was often late when you got to that airport. So because
yep, yep,
they couldn't keep up it in real time. Um,
yeah.
we didn't. How funny! We didn't live in real time.
Mhm.
We lived in a different level of trust. Now we're just learning how to do that in a different way. Put it
Yeah.
away. Oh, look at that. Put it away, turn it off. Like I have friends coming tonight.
Allow the battery to go. Allow
Mhm.
your phone to simply, when your phone, let it go down. Let the battery drain.
Yep. And I'm very guilty of it because I my relationship with what we're doing even right now is the excitement of it. There's a lot of excitement. And because I've been fortunate enough to go through changes, I have a little different discernment, you know.
Mhm.
One of the things that I think is becoming more and more important is for this generation to teach discernment in using this. Not just to say, oh,
Mm.
I don't want to do social media. No, we have a lot of experience with this change, you know.
Yes. Yes.
Let's That's why I think it's important for these programs to have these conversations and go, you know, it doesn't mean it was better. It was just different. Now I've got other learnings here. I also think it's lovely that I can talk to my friend in Canada and have a conversation, or I can,
Mhm.
learn this information, or I can run a course online with people from all over the country, all over the world. Wow. Wow.
And attend events in person. I'm going to a beautiful event tonight. I'm so excited. I've never been to anything like it before at
What are you
all.
going to? Because we're almost out of time, so I
Um,
want to hear it. Dish, honey,
it
dish.
is it's a networking event for women of faith, and the majority of these women of faith are going to be from more of a um, uh, the Ramadan experience.
Muslim?
Yes,
Hmm.
I've never been to an event. I've got many wonderful friends of different cultures, but I haven't been to an actual networking event. And
Oh, I
I'm
love
so
this.
excited. I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
See, and
Um,
follow the excitement.
yeah,
Follow the, whether it's in person, whether it's online, follow it. It's going to lead you somewhere.
try
I'm
it.
right.
Yeah, try it.
Create it. If it's not around you,
Yes.
create. There's nothing wrong with creating it, and
Mm-mm.
what an amazing time we live in that we can create, whether, even when we say it's virtual, just like our reaction to our dreams, we still have the reaction to virtual, and
Yes.
create it. I've been listening to a lot of sound baths at night.
Mm.
I would have never been able to do that before. So, it's attitude of gratitude. Let's integrate and reframe. So, wow, you know, um, do I miss the good old days? No, because they weren't necessarily all good.
They weren't
So
that good, sunshine. Not
if I
all.
can,
Yes.
if
Oh,
I can create in the moment what I want, you know, and listen to the stars, then wow, what an experience to get to this point where we can do this. So it's it's amazing.
it is. It really
Uh,
is. So
Tap
as we're
into.
preparing for the next phase,
Mhm.
tap into you. Yeah.
Yeah, tap into you and sit it. This is a great time to be quiet with yourself and make that to be list. I think I'm going to add to be excited, to be happy, to be curious. So to be my, when I set my intention in the morning, I don't think I'm going to look at my to be list. So I'd like that.
Mhm. What a beautiful suggestion. And so much of what we talk about is a suggestion.
Yes. Take what you like, leave the rest.
I agree.
Yeah.
I
So
agree.
I look forward to next week. And then we're going to be recording a podcast because I can't be on the 10th.
Yes.
Um, but it will
We're gonna
be that.
mix things up a little bit.
Well, and
Maybe it'll be Monday Magic.
um, actually Monday, and that's the day of the solar eclipse that
Monday
week.
Magic. Oh, I like that.
Yeah, let's do
Yeah.
some Monday magic that week. Um, and we'll be talking about the solar eclipse and the excitement of what can it be, what could it be? So,
So
all right,
much
Nance,
fun.
what
Okay.
and
Well,
it's just so much
you be
fun.
happy, you be joy, you be whatever it is you want to be.
On my
I'm a bee. Do you know that song? I'm a
mm-mm.
bee. Oh, it's by the Black Eyed Peas. I'm a bee. I'm a bee. I'm a bee. That's a good one to dance to. Yeah, really good.
All right.
I'll send
Hey,
it to you later.
I am the American Bandstand. If it's got a good beat, you can dance to it.
Yeah, that's right. That's it too.
They would always say, if it's got a good beat, I can dance to it. So
I agree.
enjoy your dancing today, Nance.
Yes, you too. You too. Okay, love you to the moon and back.
You too, darling. Namaste.
Namaste.